Hello, everyone. CJ Grizzly here, bringing you another episode of CJ Grizzly's real life stories. Coming your way right now. This episode is about my real life experiences where I saw and knew people that were taking advantage of the SNAP welfare and other government services in the community. I witnessed with my own eyes people going out of their way in order to get government and community handouts, playing the system. Saying these benefits are out here for everybody to take if you need the money or you need the food. Yeah, sure, but you don't need 5 cases of chicken. How about take 1 and leave 4 for someone else in need? You see the greed and the nonchalantness of their attitudes ripping the taxpayers off. Anyway, let's get into it, guys. I went to the local big grocery store around here the other day. There was a lady there, and we bumped into each other in the bread aisle. She had a couple of kids around 6 to 8 years old. She was dressed nice. She was wearing casual office attire, and she appeared like a middle-class woman with 2 kids. She grabbed 2 loaves of loaf bread off the shelf and put them into a shopping cart. We didn't speak as we were about 10 feet apart over there in the bread aisle. She got her bread and left. And so I went to see what kind of bread it was that she had got. I was thinking it might be good bread. So I looked at the price, and it was $4.97 per loaf. I was also buying bread. My bread was 96 cents per loaf. I do not get SNAP or any government services and never have. I work and pay taxes, and I watch how I spend my money that I earn working hard. So I was thinking that lady must be making good money to pay $5 for each loaf of bread. And I really didn't think anything else about it. I just got my 2 loaves of bread for $1 each. So I went and grabbed a couple more items throughout the store, and she did too. When I got to checkout, I was right behind her, and she was having problems with paying for the groceries. Through the conversations with the checkout clerk, I heard them say she was using a Gov food debit card. So she was on some kind of Gov assistance. Why would someone on SNAP pay $5 for a loaf of bread instead of paying $1 for a loaf of bread? It doesn't seem logical that if you are so in need of government assistance, but you choose not to make that taxpayer assistance go farther. I mean, you could have bought 5 loaves of bread, which would feed 5 times more people, make 5 times the meals. Doesn't that seem logical? So in essence, I paid for $10 for her bread and my $2 worth of bread. So I paid $12 and I got $2 worth of bread. See how this doesn't work? See, the only way it makes sense is because the takers think it is free money. They didn't work for it, so they don't care how much things cost. When we work for the money, we budget and shop wisely about how our money is spent to make it go as far as possible, depending on our budget that we set in our goal session. As a person whose existence depends on money, working a job. So see, you got the lady that's getting money from the taxpayers, that bought the $5 loaf of bread, wants to give me the evil eye. And it seems like we got a pattern going on in our country, that everybody we've been supporting, that everybody we've been giving handouts to everybody that, you know, really seem like half these people don't even want to be in America. And you give them all this money and support and pay for all their crap. And then they're so ungrateful. So ungrateful. A lot of this handout stuff was extended and expanded through COVID and all that. All these welfare requirements and all that were lowered so more people could get the handouts. A lot of people got on all this stuff. And now the party's over, and you tell them, well, you know what? We've probably given you about $80,000 over the last 4, 5, 6 years. And we just don't have the money anymore. The country is going broke. You know what? We're gonna have to cut you off. And what's their response? You'd think they'd say, oh, well, I really appreciate the $80,000 you gave me that. Really helped me out or whatever. But no, you don't hear that. What you hear is, oh yeah, you're gonna give me that money? I'm gonna come down to the store and rob the damn store. See, these are the most ungrateful, entitled degenerates you ever seen. I mean, these people, man, you find them all over the internet. Oh yeah. These SNAP and welfare abusers went on welfare and got housing subsidies. And all this crap starting when they had their first child 12 years ago. And then, even though you couldn't afford to raise your kid and be responsible, well, you went ahead and had 3 more kids. Oh, you're real smart. Yes, you're very, very bright. You have a lot of integrity. We see that you had the responsibility of a freaking cockroach. This is bullcrap, right, guys? Nobody's thankful for a damn thing. And we, the taxpayers, are getting the shaft. Everybody's getting all the freebies, hundreds of billions of dollars worth every year. Now we gotta get rid of the freebies if this country and our people are going to prosper. I thought we all knew nothing is free. I mean, eventually, they're gonna do something and pass something. And all these people, most of them are probably 80% of them. 70% of them are still going to be getting the free handout money, millions of takers, not makers. Now, if you're not married and you don't have a father figure in the house and you got 4 kids and you can't move sideways because you got 4 kids, I'm sorry, how's that my fault? Why do I pay for your mistakes? See, we gotta support her to make a better community, they say. What kind of community promotes this behavior? Because that's what it does when you give them money and pay their bills, and all you get for helping is a bunch of lip. We need more, they say. It's not enough, they say. Like we are responsible for their problems and successes. Yeah, we don't help, and we're the problem. Then we do help. It's not enough, and somehow we are still the problem. How's that working out? That lady that bought the 2 loaves of bread for $10 at the big grocery store. and then looked straight at me and gave me the evil eye, because I wasn't happy about hearing she was paying $10 for 2 loaves of bread, using SNAP government assistance. When she got the 2 $5 loaves of bread, she's probably thinking, oh, you're upset that I'm getting the SNAP food card. No, that's not why I'm upset. I realize every now and again somebody needs some help for a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, and that's it. I'm not mad that you have the SNAP food card. I'm mad that you spent $5 for a loaf of bread when you could have got 5 damn loaves for the same money and had more food. You didn't spend the money wisely. You pissed the money away. And why did you do that? Because you didn't make the money. You didn't care. You didn't respect our money, our time and effort and labor put in to make that money that you got. You pissed it away like it was nothing. That's why people get mad. You know, there's always been fraud and handouts. Seems it was always based on stealing from one man to give to another. Like putting a burden on one man to take the burden off of another man. But the burden still remains. It's just switch places, right? How do they know that the person they are taking money from to give to someone else isn't falling on hard times? How do they know if the guy they're taking the money from can't pay his rent, can't buy his medication or food for his kids? Well, they don't know. And that's how we know it's a scam on working people. It seems to be a dirty game, and hard-working Americans are being hurt and swindled by the government under the guise of caring for the less fortunate. I remember when I was a kid, probably 10 or 12 years old, people were getting food stamps back then. And they would be out in the parking lot of the grocery store, trying to sell them to get some money to buy some booze or some cigarettes, to do whatever they do. So we've always had this problem, and it never goes away. So it must not be working, huh? So, now you're gonna blow a gasket when you hear about Tony. Tony was a 23-year-old man. Well, he thought he was a man, but he was a boy. Tony lived in a pull-behind camping trailer behind his girlfriend's parents' house. The small camper was really like a mobile bedroom with a stereo and TV and a bed in it. Tony was a conniver. He was using the 24-year-old woman he had been promising to marry for the last 3 years. But Tony always canceled the wedding. That caused his girlfriend to get very upset after the second cancellation of the wedding by Tony. Tony's girlfriend had a college education, good job, and a new car, thanks to her hard work and determination. She was a prize for a good, hard-working man. But Tony had her brainwashed into thinking he really loved her. But he was just using her for a free ride. You know, when she was working hard all day, Tony was sleeping or partying all day. When Tony's girlfriend got home from working all day, there was Tony. He was ready to be served like he made the entire world spin around her. But it was all about Tony. Tony and his girl lived in the small camping trailer behind her parents' house. It was hooked up to her parents' electricity by an extension cord, so they could have power. The camper didn't have a shower or a kitchen. So every morning, Tony's girlfriend would go in her parents' house to get a shower and eat breakfast before work. Many times it was in the teens during the winter, and the trailer was cold. It had no heat. Tony's girlfriend was pulling all the weight of the relationship, and it was getting old for Tony's girlfriend. Looks like she was starting to see what she was really getting for all her efforts, and she wasn't liking it. Who would? I met Tony at church. I was coaching the men's basketball program at the church, and Tony was on the team. Tony had two other friends that were a lot like Tony, young black men that used racism in every instance in order to blame the system for their laziness. But wouldn't you know, when it came time to get high, drink beer and play basketball, they always had energy for that, right? We were at the church gym having basketball practice, and I overheard Tony and his two buddies complaining about how they couldn't get a job anywhere. They had been working at fast food places here and there, but always got fired because rumor is they just didn't want to work and had bad attitudes at work. They blamed it on racism, but most people in the town were black people, and the ones that fired them from the jobs were also black people. I asked them why they couldn't get a job when it seemed like everyone that really wanted to work was working and could get a job. Even if they were black, the excuses didn't add up. Just like always, right? The 320-somethings said they had minor drug charges like possession of weed and small things like that. They said that's why they couldn't get hired. And also because of racism too. Well, of course. I had been knowing these guys for about 4 months now. They put up a good front that appeared as if they were willing to work hard, and they had a good code of ethics. But it seemed it was all a show for the church people. Project a responsible, wholesome life while at church, but in their real lives, sin was dominating them. We've seen this movie before, right? At this time, I didn't know about their living conditions or personal lives or relationships with women, or their sinful nature that ran very deep. Being a good Christian, I reached out to them, gave them the prep talk, and I told them if they would come to work every day and work hard, I would pay them 2.5 times what they made at Taco Bell. I made them the best job offer they ever had. I told them they must be ready to work hard, doing construction, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. They have to be awake, alert, have their heads in the work. You have to be ready to focus and learn. And with my guidance, You could have your own construction business in just a few short years. I told them in a few years, you can call your own shots with a business and make $75 per hour. Out of the love of my heart, I would be their mentor free of charge. It seemed like the perfect way to advance. Really. A dream that so many others would love to have this opportunity. They all agreed, and I hired them to start work the next Monday. So I saw Tony and his buddies at the basketball game our team played in the following Saturday. We won the game, and everyone was in good cheer after the game. I told Tony I'd pick him up at his house. Monday morning, about 7 in the morning. Tony had an old pickup truck, but it was broken down, so he had no way to get to work. Only one of the 3 new employees had a semi-dependable car. The other 2 would ride together and meet us at the construction job site. Once we all were there, I gave them the pep talk again, trying to motivate them to learn and work hard so they could build a future for themselves. None of them had any experience in construction. I asked them that night I hired them if they knew how to use a hammer and tape measure. They all said they did, but they didn't own any of these items. I already knew this, so over the weekend, I bought all of them a tape measure, a tool belt, and a hammer, and 2 pairs of gloves each. After the pep talk, I gave them the tools I bought for them, and they were all smiling. I was thinking this might work out. It was a gamble for me, but I knew that even if they got very lazy, I could at least break even. And I would have done a good thing to help some less fortunate people. I knew that going in. The first couple of days was training. Within hours, I knew they couldn't read the tape measure, even though they said they could. So I gave them a newbie course on how to use a tape measure and how to read it and use it. After that, I saw they couldn't hammer a nail in straight, so I had to teach them how to do that. I wasn't mad, because I figured I'd have to train them from the bottom up. If they could have done those 2 things, they could have probably had a job before I came along. I was trying to let my Christian teaching shine through and help these guys out, point them in the right direction so they could get out of this toxic culture they were living in. I told them that after we got off work, they need to practice measuring and nailing for 30 minutes to improve their skills. I gave them all the tools and even gave them boards to practice nailing and measuring. I was pushing for their success. As the days went on, I could see the experiment was failing. Most of what we were doing was repetitive. The same measurements, the same nailing patterns, the same materials every day. By the 4th day, they were still asking me the measurements that I had told them 24 times before. They were still asking me where to nail the lumber supports, and we had been doing that for 4 days. As they got more and more comfortable being on the job, they started talking about the pro basketball a lot. Rap music, drugs, and women. Looks like Tony was no saint. When you work with people, you learn a lot about them. And that's when I discovered he was taking his girlfriend for a ride. Tony was using her for her money and sex. It was easy to see. I told him we aren't going to talk about music and basketball and drugs. We were going to stay focused on the task at hand. That's how you build companies. Also, since I was picking up Tony at his house, which was a pull-behind camping trailer parked behind his girlfriend's parents, I saw how Tony was taking advantage of his girlfriend's parents, taking their power, using their phone, hooking up to their cable TV, and stealing it from the cable company. Tony was using his girlfriend and her parents. Tony was even calling his girlfriend's mother his mom. But Tony never contributed a single dime to the parents or the girlfriend. When Tony got paid, it was all for Tony. Tony already had half of his paycheck spent on useless junk before he even got paid. And the rest was used for booze and weed for a party-filled weekend. Instead of using that money to get his truck fixed, he used it for drinking and drugs, while letting his girlfriend pay all their living expenses. I was quickly learning that Tony was a user and abuser. Tony used every single person he claimed to care about. He used them for everything he could get out of them, while convincing them that he cared about them. It was all an act. The church had implemented a new policy for people to be able to play on the basketball team. The policy was you had to come to at least one church service per month. If you didn't, you would no longer be allowed to play for the church team in the men's league of 12 local churches that all had basketball teams. The new policy was to eliminate non-Christians from coming in and using the church as their free recreation center. It seemed like a good move. Our church had a church dinner once a month for all that attended that particular service. Tony would show up right before the service was over, and then he would go into the dining hall and eat dinner. As soon as he was through eating, he would leave. So it was like he just showed up for the dinner, not the holy word or for the social activities at the church. No, it appeared Tony was just using the church like he did everyone else. After a while, some of the church deacons started to notice and questioned Tony about his attendance for the service, basically calling him out for not really coming to the service, but just coming for the dinner and claiming he was at the service once a month, which allowed him to stay on the basketball team. The church let him slide. Tony's true character was revealing who Tony really was. Tony's facade was beginning to crumble. At the end of the second week of working, I already knew I wasn't going to make money on the job. At the end of the day, I paid the guys and told them it wasn't working out. I told them there needed to be significant improvement in the production, that they had to get their heads in the game and work harder than they had been working. I had been getting on them every day, but not that hard. It was time for a wake-up call. I told them this was the opportunity they said they were looking for. Don't let this slip through your fingers. I told them if it doesn't work out this next week, then they would be let go, and then they would be faced with working at Taco Bell again. I asked them, is that what you want? At this point, I knew I wasn't getting through to them. They had already made up their minds they couldn't do this work, or they just didn't want to. I really don't know. I think it was the way they were raised. They just didn't care about anything, even though they claimed they did. I called their bluff and told them to ship up, or they would be let go by the next Friday. To be honest, they really didn't respond one way or another. So the next week started. There was no change in their work ethic. In fact, it seemed like they were even lazier. They were just hanging around doing as little as possible. They thought their presence of just being there, not even working, was good enough to get them a paycheck. So by the end of the day, Wednesday, I told them that was it. That was the last day they would be working. They got all up in arms and started arguing about how I told them they were going to be let go Friday. Friday. Not today. I told them, you guys aren't working, and I'm not going to pay for you to be slow and lazy and milk the clock. I told them I had been patient with them beyond all reasonable expectations. And truth be known, any other person would have been let go the first few days. But I stuck with them. I tried to believe in them and help them over and over. I prayed over them out loud during our lunch breaks. I was patient as I repeated everything and showed them how to do everything to a superior standard. And they just didn't care. I wasn't forceful and hateful. I was loving, but also told them the hard truth they needed to hear. And they didn't like that, so Tony's two friends got ugly about it. And I paid them and told them to leave. Tony was riding 35 miles with me back to the area we lived in. Tony wasn't really upset. Seems he already had it in his mind that this job was over for him, but we still played basketball together. And since I was the coach, he didn't want to cause any friction. I paid Tony before we left the job site and stopped at the store, where he bought 3 large malt liquor beverages. While I was still in the store, Tony quickly drank one of the cans of beer. When we got back to Tony's camper, Tony quickly chugged another large beer. Tony wanted me to come look at the new used 4-wheeler his girlfriend bought him. It was in the backyard. You couldn't really see back there without turning the corner. Then you could see the backyard all the way. As Tony and I turned the corner, Tony was like, "Hey, look at the 4-wheeler." But I was stunned at what I saw. And it wasn't the 4-wheeler I was looking at. As I turned the corner, I saw about 20 pallets of food. The food was bad. I asked Tony, "What is all this?" Tony said, "Oh, that's food we got from the food banks." I questioned further about the pallets of spoiled food and beverages. I saw a few pallets that looked as if the food had just spoiled not that long ago, while other pallets of food were black with mold. There were cases of 2-liter soft drinks. There were like 20 packs of bacon. There was 2 entire pallets of mostly canned food. I looked at some of the dates on the cans, and they were not expired. But sitting out in the direct sunlight for months probably made them not fit to eat. There was sausage, bread, crackers, chips, jars of peanut butter, cheese, probably 10 gallons of milk, and a little of everything, it seemed. I was in total shock over how much food had been wasted. We were hearing on the news how everyone was having a hard time making it and buying food. And then I see this. I asked Tony why they got so much food from the food banks. And he said the food is there for us to take. We take what we want. That's what the food banks are for. It's for people like us that are poor and can't get jobs. I was like, no. You take what you need, not as much as you want. You take as much as you need. Do you think someone else could have used that food? Oh, there's plenty for everybody. It's there for us to take, Tony said. Tony was like, well, if we didn't take it, somebody else would have. And it might have still been wasted. I couldn't believe how Tony just brushed it off as normal. Tony seemed to be proud of taking the food. He said they hit every food bank within 25 miles every month. He also said him and his girlfriend's parents were also getting SNAP and welfare. I will say in her parents' defense that they were poor and they probably needed the welfare. But Tony didn't, and Tony's girlfriend had a great job. She was not getting any benefits. Tony was able to work. He just wouldn't work. Tony said, "Oh, we eat steak 3 or 4 times a week." But me, as an employed contractor, can't even afford to eat steak 3 times a week. This was insane. Tony also said they went out to eat all the time, too. Tony was bragging about being on welfare and SNAP and taking advantage of the taxpayers and even his own community, as if this is what you're supposed to do. It was all outrageous in my eyes. I started getting angry, but I didn't let it show. So I guess those beers were hitting Tony's brain, because he seemed excited telling me about how they get all this government assistance. Because he can. But then Tony told me the most shocking thing. The most shocking thing I have ever heard from a welfare abuser. Tony finally revealed his master budget plan for the scam. Tony said that he would use some of the welfare to pay for him and his girlfriend's living expenses. And his girlfriend would save her paychecks. I think she was making about $42,000 a year, which was good money 15 years ago. But that is her money. And what do they do with the money? Well, Tony said they go on 2 premium cruises a year. What? What? No way! This can't be true, right? So Tony started telling me about the cruises they have been on so far in the last 4 years. They have taken 8 cruises while leeching off the taxpayers and even their own communities. Who does this? He was literally bragging about the cruises, and I thought he was just talking junk and lying. Then Tony pulled out 4 Disney cruise ship passes from the last 4 years. I was like, are you kidding me? They had already booked another Disney Princess cruise as we were speaking. No way! As if that wasn't shocking enough, Tony then took a silver and a gold card out of his wallet. Tony was like, "Hey, CJ Grizzly, do you know what these are for?" Of course, I had no idea. Tony said, "Look at this silver one. It's for $3,000 to be used at the casino on the cruise ship." I was like, "Is this the craziest thing you've ever seen or what?" Then he said the gold card was for $5,000 to gamble at the cruise ship casino. $5,000 to gamble away, while the guy is getting welfare. Snap. Hitting up every food bank within 25 miles. It was so over the top. I was about to blow a freaking gasket. I was so outraged, guys. Tony acting like there is no ethical violations in what he is doing. It's unreal to me. So it appears that the reason Tony didn't want to get married is because once he was married, he wouldn't qualify for the welfare and social services. Because his wife made too much money to be eligible for social services and checks. So that means Tony would have to get a job doing real work. Their plan was to buy a house and get out of the camper and stop taking advantage of her mom and dad. But Tony never would commit and go through with the wedding. I never talked to or seen Tony since that moment. However, I did talk to the deacons at the church about what I had found out about Tony. And I guess word got out about what they were doing. I think they just left and moved away. Nobody has seen or heard of them since. So think about this. Tony was getting free money from the government, and he was getting paid $18 per hour, working for me. And the guy still complained about how unfair everything is. Unbelievable. Even when they cheat, they complain about it. Tony had a good woman and didn't even know what he had, because he was busy trying to live that ghetto lifestyle, just to prove he was a tough guy or scared of commitment for some reason. Time will tell. Employers don't care how tough you are, Tony. All they care about is, can you do the job and make them some money? The more money you make them, the more money you will make. Most people do learn to correct their mistakes over time. I'm sure Tony has too. Or he could be in prison. I don't really know. Point is, I can forgive and just hope Tony is a better man today. And I hope I am too. So I hope Tony has found the Lord and is in a better state of mind these days. God's way seems so clear, but some people can't see it for some reason. I pray everyone finds their inner peace with Jesus. Who knows? All I know is all these years later, I'm still shocked this stuff really does happen. It feels sort of like a crime is taking place. What do you guys think? That's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the sheer awkwardness of this episode. And we will see you later. Take care of each other out there, guys. Thanks for watching.